All right, we're here with Josh Folan, who, why don't you give us a little bit about your background and tell us when you came here to New York?
It'll be 7 years in August that I've been here.
Did you come specifically to start acting?
I came here for modeling stuff originally, I guess. Yeah, I went to school for finance back in Ohio. I grew up in Cleveland, went to Ohio State, and I was working a finance job there. And I've been doing a little modeling stuff in college, and some pictures got out here to an agency. And there was like an intern period, probably about 6 months, where I was flying back and forth and staying here for a week or two at a time with a buddy that lived actually right over on 52nd Street. Going out, meeting people, shaking hands and stuff in that business. It went pretty well, and my lease ran out back in Ohio, my apartment lease, and I kind of just had the whole "you're only young once, why not go" kind of deal, you know. So I moved here. That was August of '05, and not long after I booked some gig for Comedy Central that was kind of a half modeling, half acting job, and that got me an agent, and that spun into the soap opera thing, and I started studying a little bit, and that's kind of how I ended up in the movie making business, I guess.
Did that whet your appetite to act, or did you have previous aspirations?
I did not. No, I was actually terrified of it. You know, I mean, clearly modeling and acting are somewhat interlinked, or to a degree anyways. And I had situations, opportunities where I could, and it just terrified me. But it was such a, you know, I was kind of a shut-in, you know, Ohio farmer. And that was such a, or in my mind anyways, it was such a putting yourself on the line kind of thing, and such a, I don't know, it took so much more than I thought I was capable of, I guess, at the time. So yeah, I was terrified of it. It took, clearly not being forced to do it, because I voluntarily went on the auditions, and I, you know, put myself out there, but it took a while to get really comfortable doing it, and to really think I belong doing so.
And then, like you said, you parlayed that into some soap work.
Yeah.
Run All My Children.
Absolutely. Yeah, I did. It was 3 years of reoccurring work. It was like U5, Day Player, bouncing back and forth between those two levels of involvement, I guess, for probably about, it's almost 3 years, and it was probably 40 some odd episodes I did over that time span before they moved up to LA at the end of '09.
And then you said you moved into doing your own film work. Why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually, when I was still working on my children, I met a guy there that I did, started producing, with my background being business, started producing theater work with him. And you know, we did a couple shows, a nice run of Boys Life, Howard Porter's Boys Life, with a bunch of other soap people, and it went pretty well. And there was, he and I parted ways, and there was a guy I just done a film with, Matt Jarrett. We worked on a small horror film called Spiker, and he and I had similarly themed scripts that we were working on. So we had the idea that if we went out and tried to find financing for the two together at once, that it would, you know, it would be easier to do so with two projects to sell instead of just one. So we started working together on that basis, and found out it's very hard to raise money, but we were eventually able to scratch together enough to make one, and that was the first produced feature film I had, All God's Creatures, which just came out after 4 long years of hard work. Just came out through our distributor worldwide on May 22nd, which was cool.
So that must be exciting. I mean, you starred in it. You also had a big part in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wrote the script, or at least the first 7 drafts of it, before we brought on someone to help. That being my first feature-length script, we brought on someone to help me polish it up a little bit. But yeah, I also produced it, and then played the lead acting role in it too, the serial killer, which that was kind of the thing, or you know, one of the hard things about the acting business is, especially with film and television work, is it's very easy to be perceived as one thing, because you know, when people are casting, if you don't have a very large or prominent body of work, they just look at your picture and say, that's who that is, you know, and to try to get in and prove yourself as otherwise is very tough to do. Hence, you know, coming from a modeling background, oh, he could probably do soap work, and, you know, let him say a few lines on TV here and there. But I mean, I never would have got in or booked a role playing a serial killer with my resume at the time. It just would never have happened. My interests are a little darker. I mean, that's clearly why I wrote the script. I have, I enjoy that kind of material and have an interest in it. So if I ever want to break into that, it required me going out, writing the script, convincing a whole shit ton of other people that it's a viable project and worth their time, and actually getting it done myself, you know, or with that group of people, not so much myself. But yeah, that's really the only way to do that, I think, unless you're really lucky, I guess.
What are you working on now?
I have actually last September, I guess it was, I went back to Ohio, where I'm from, in the Cleveland area, and shot my second feature, which actually, or rather I also directed on top of the producer, writer, and one of the actor roles, and that shot that in September. So right now I'm in post-production on that. I'm nearing picture lock. So, you know, fine-tuning the picture, talking to composers right now about putting the score together, working on title design, stuff like that. So I'm hoping that to take a finished product to AFM, the American Film Market, out in LA in November, which is pretty much how I sold All God's Creatures last year, my last film. So I'm thinking, piggybacking off that success, and then hopefully also I have an even better movie, being my second time doing it, combining those two things and making another sale this week.
And now, what advice would you have to people who are just starting out, whether it be in modeling or in acting, or, and I mean, you've done everything, so.
You know, like I said, it's, if you sit around waiting for other people to let you do this stuff, it's tough. And really, you know, I mean, that's justifiably so too, because it's a great business and everyone wants to do this shit. So who are any of us to just be handed that opportunity if you're not willing to go out and do the back-breaking work required to make your own stuff and show that you can do it? You know, if you're not willing to go out and put in that extra work to prove yourself as being worth other people's time, why would they give it to you? You know, so my advice would be to just do it. You know, find a way, scrape and claw, however you got to do it. Get something good together that's yours, and show everyone that you can do it.
Cool. Thanks so much, Josh.
Absolutely. Thank you.